What's going on, everybody? It's Daniel. I'm back with another review for you guys. This week, I'm going to be reviewing the new Hulu exclusive Prey, which is the newest Predator movie in the franchise. So, really quick, I just wanted to say I'm really big into Predator. I've seen like every Predator movie. I've read a few of the comics, but I didn't read them all. But I have done a lot of research as of late, just on the Predator lore and everything like that. So I just wanted to give that insight that I am into Predator, and it's really cool shit. I even got a Predator shirt. Look at this shirt. It's a fucking predator playing with little kittens, bro. Look at this shirt. Fuck! So this movie takes place in the 1700s. I think it's like 1715 to be exact. Follows a group of Comanche warriors, or like a tribe of Comanche. I probably sound ignorant when I say that, but I really don't know a lot about that time period. Yeah, it's pretty much like, you know, bow and arrows, animal fur to stay alive type shit. You know, it's basic before technology type shit. And they did a really good job with keeping the setting very grounded. It's very grounded. It's very very pretty to look at. Like, there's a lot of cool landscapes. They're in the northern Great Plains throughout the entire movie. It's your typical Predator movie. If you've seen a Predator movie before, you know what Predator does. You know, it's pretty basic shit, but this one's a lot more interesting than all the other movies that have come out. I still, to this day, I think the first Predator movie is better than this movie. I think the first Predator movie is really hard to beat as is, because of just the impact that it had on the fans. I didn't really care for the second movie all that much, the one that came out in 1990 with Danny Glover. I thought it was really cheesy and just really 90s, and I wasn't a fan when I first saw it. I've watched it again recently, and it's okay. It's not like the greatest thing in the world or anything. I will say, before you see this movie is technically a prequel, so it's Prey is technically the first time the Predator's ever been to Earth, which is a cool idea. I really like seeing like that idea. I don't want to see a Predator in the city. I don't care about that anymore. I want to see a Predator like fight against gladiators and fight against like kings and tribal people. Like, I would like to see more of that, and this movie gives us that quite a bit. Like I said, though, it's really grounded. It's really like easy to follow. It's got like it's got really good pacing. I like the pacing in this movie a lot. A lot of action, a lot of visual effects. I didn't think the visual effects were like spectacular or anything, but you know, they get away with it sometimes. Like, there's a part where the Predator's like fighting a bear, like a straight up grizzly bear. I didn't think the bear CGI was that good. But it didn't, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal, because, you know, it's a fucking predator fighting a bear. What do you want? Predator's like cloaking device was a little bit shitty looking. But you know, that's something that I kept on forgetting, is that this is like the Predator's first time hunting humans and on Earth in general. So a lot of his equipment is like old school as fuck. Like, you know, it's obviously still like technically way better than what we have now, but it wasn't as advanced as we've seen in the other movies, and I like that a lot. Like, the other movies, like all the other movies that come before this, the Predators are so like technically advanced that it's almost unfair sometimes. You know, like they got like the fucking pulse cannon, and then they got the fucking like crazy like discs that they throw, and the combi stick. Like, a lot of that stuff's still here, but like it's not as crazy. Like, instead of having a plasma canister, he has like a kinetic arrow thing that's guided by his lasers or whatever. You guys hear that? Anyway, so yeah, like I said, it's pretty basic when it comes down to it, but it's really like fun to watch. Like, it's a really good time to watch. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie, especially when you compare it to the previous Predator movies, like Predators, the one that came out, I think it was 2010, with Adrian Brody, Danny Trejo, and Lawrence Fishburne. I did not like that movie that much. I like the idea about that movie, like how like the Predators were like pretty much kidnapping a bunch of warriors around the Earth and like just landing them in a random fucking like on a planet to fucking hunt them, pretty much. I like that idea, but I didn't really like the last one that came out in 2018, The Predators, or The Predator or whatever. The movie was so stupid. It was like goofy as fuck. And I think that's one of those things where it's like, I think they needed a nice reboot to the Predator series without rebooting it necessarily. You can still use like the lore that they've had, especially in this new Prey. Like, they do a lot of like callbacks to the original two movies, and that's why I think that you should probably watch 1 and 2 before you see this one, just so you can get some of the subtle hints that they have in this one. But I think a new fan, if somebody's new to the Predator series and like they're like, oh, I just want to watch a Predator movie, I think it's still going to be a really cool movie. It's bloody as hell. It's really just rated R for strong bloody violence, which I'm really happy that it ended up being rated R, and it's actually as suspenseful as it is, because Disney obviously owns 20th Century Fox and Hulu and everything like that. They also own Me Too. So, you know, I think they did a good job at like keeping this adult, for the fans. It was really cool. If they did a PG-13 Predator, it would just be absolutely garbage. I wasn't a big fan of like Alien versus Predator and stuff. I thought those movies were really just garbage, to be honest. They had some cool moments, obviously. You got aliens and predators fighting against each other. Go Predators all the way. I don't know how people could be so stupid to think aliens are like better in any way. Get them the fuck out of here, dude. I didn't really like the way the movie ended. I thought it was kind of annoying, like just like the same formula with Predator movies where it's just like the hunter becomes the hunted. We get that now. Like we all understand that. It's happened in every fucking movie. Like it's just like it gets old seeing the same thing every single time you watch the movie. Though I did like the final battle. I thought that was cool. I just thought the way they finished the final battle was really anticlimactic and kind of just like kind of cheap, to be honest. But it was all right. I mean, like the majority of the movie before that, I'd say like the first like 80% of this movie was just absolutely fantastic. It was really, really cool. Every scene had a really cool like meaning behind it. And then in that last like maybe 15 or 20% of the movie, I kind of was getting fatigued by it. Not like fatigued, like I don't want to watch it ever again, but like it just fatigued as in like, okay, it's starting to not really make sense now. It's starting to get on my nerves how much the humans are just so strong all of a sudden. But I felt like they stuck to it and they did a really good job with like the Comanche warriors. Like the way they fought was really like on par with the Predator because it's like obviously Hunter v Hunter. And that was kind of cool. The main character in this movie, I'm blanking on her name, but she's actually a really good actress. She's really pretty too. She did a really good job in this movie, though. I thought she played a really good main protagonist, especially for being a protagonist that's like technically like going against history. Because back in that time, I'm pretty sure like tribes like that, the women were meant to pick berries and like do the womanly chores and shit like that. Not saying I think that's okay, but that's just the way life was back then. They pushed the whole like I'm a woman and I want to hunt like the men thing in this movie, and it does get a little bit annoying sometimes, but like it's okay because they're trying to like I'm all good with like women and women being empowered. I thought it was really cool to see it, and when I first heard this movie was coming out and the main character was going to be a girl, I was pretty stoked for it because I'm kind of tired of seeing like the typical like big brute protagonist man that fights the predator. It's like I like seeing a character that's a little more nimble, a little more able to like do slides, and let me just tell you, man, for the Call of Duty fans out there, this bitch is slide canceling throughout like majority of the movie, bro. This bitch is a master slide canceler. This movie is like the origin of slide canceling pretty much. But I thought this movie was really, really fucking cool. It had a lot more memorable scenes than majority of the last like 5 Predator movies, to be honest with you. This is definitely a movie I will watch again. I will definitely like consider this as a top tier Predator movie. It ends with a after credit scene, and everybody I've talked to said they missed the after credit scene, but it's a really quick after credit scene. It sets up some kind of sequel of some sort, which I'm fine with. I thought the director of this one was really good. I know one of the co-writers from the original Predator was a part of this, so he had a lot of say in this. They just did a really good job, though. I really liked how everything looked. A couple moments where the CGI was a little shitty. Not to spoil anything, but like an example of something that kind of annoyed me was like she's so curious and so badly wants to be a hunter that she like found like the predator's tracks and she told the tribe about it, and she's like, that's not a bear, it's a fucking like something bigger. And they're like, okay, well, let's not fuck with it. And then she goes and fucks with it, and then it makes everybody else come and follow her, and everybody else fucking dies because of it. And it's just like, I feel like if I'm the tribe leader, that bitch is gone, dude. Like, you're out of here, dude. Like, you're out of here. You disobeyed how we do things here. You got all the men killed pretty much. And I'm not saying every guy dies in this movie, but like a lot of people die in this movie. And I personally believe a lot of it was the main character's fault. But, it's just a movie and that's how it's going to be. But that was just like, I think too deep into things. And that was kind of the one thing that was just like, that's so fucking annoying. You know what I mean? They would kick her out of this tribe. She'd be so fucking gone, dude. It's ridiculous. But I did enjoy this movie. I know a lot of people are enjoying this movie as well. If I had to put this on a tier list, I would say this is probably the second best Predator movie I've ever seen. It did everything as a Predator fan that I want to see. It did everything that I pretty much like about Predator was in this movie. I do wish like I watched the version of this movie that was filmed in like a different language. I would have preferred if I listened to the characters in a Native American language instead of the English language that we got. It seemed a little weird and basic sometimes and took you out of the immersion. But there are some character, like, at least like give me like the voiceover with like subtitles. I would have been totally okay with that. Um, Also, something else I really want to see in the future when it comes to Predator movies, I want a more in-depth look at the Predator when he's on his ship before he drops in, and what his orders are and all that shit, because like I want to learn more about the Predator. I know we can read the comics and learn more about them. We can watch YouTube videos and learn more about them based off lore, but we need an actual like movie or short film about just like the Predator hierarchy and how they all like communicate with each other. Because I felt like if I could have gotten a little bit more in the Predator's head in this one, I think I would have understood why the Predator was doing such weird shit. Because the Predator in this movie was like a fucking brute, dude. Like he was like feral as fuck, dude. Like he used his stealth, but like the stealth wasn't as good, it seemed like. So like he was really up in your face a lot in this movie, and really just like really a lot of tension was built in this movie, and I think they did a good job with it. I just wish I could have like I wish like we could like have like something, some kind of communication with the Predator to where we can understand what the Predator's saying. But anyway, I'm gonna rate this movie a 7.75 out of 10. Maybe even an 8 if I really wanted to go that far with it. I don't think it's the best Predator movie ever. I don't think this is. I think, like I said, it's the second best Predator movie I've ever seen. Some people might disagree with that, and that's fine. Fucking do it, I dare you. Let's hear it again. You hear that? Must be hearing things. This movie was really cool though. I recommend it to anybody who's really into Predator. I recommend it to anybody who's really into like just thrillers in general. It was a cool thriller. It was a little long, but it wasn't like too long to where I was like, oh, I'm sick of this movie. You know what I mean? Towards the end there, it did have a couple moments where I was just kind of like, ugh, you know, but like it was fine. It worked. It did a lot of callbacks to the originals that I respected. It rewarded the fans. I think people will like this movie a lot, actually. Like I said, try to watch the first and second Predator beforehand. I know it's going to be tough because they're kind of old now. But if you can watch those first and then watch this one, I think you'll be like pretty much in the know. And you'll feel really good about it, to be honest. So anyway, 7.75 is my final verdict on this one. I recommend this movie 100%. I think it's good. I like it. So you guys have an awesome day. Thank you for all the likes, all the comments, all the subscriptions. I appreciate everybody motivating me to get these out. I hope this one was okay for you guys. If not, whatever, man. You guys hear that shit?